All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming out. I know that's not too big of a crowd, but I appreciate you guys coming out. Introduce myself. I'm Ricky Wysocki, sponsored by Latitude 64, touring pro, currently ranked #2 in the world. And I appreciate you guys coming out to support me and my tour. I'll do like 30 minutes of just kind of showing you guys, each topic. I'm going to do putting, upshots, and driving. So I'm going to do 30 minutes of that, and I'll do just some questions if you guys have any questions. And then we can do some private. So I have enough little groups so we can do a private. Each you can throw if we have time. So yeah, I'll go straight into putting. As far as putting, I don't like to critique everyone's putting because everyone's a little bit different. So I'm just going to kind of show you guys stuff that'll apply to everyone's putting style. It doesn't matter. You don't have to change your style. Change certain things. There's just certain things that will apply to every single putting style, and I'm going to show you a few of those things. And to start off, like I said, at the end maybe I can have some specific questions about your certain putt. But for right now, I'm going to show you a few basic things about the putt. I think most of you guys know about grips and all that stuff, so I'm not going to go too much into that. So as far as putting goes, it's a lot about timing. Timing is very key with putting, and a lot of people think it's maybe your arm or your wrist generating the power, but it's really your whole body. And that's what I'm all about, maximizing your whole body, not just using your arm or your wrist in putting. I maximize my whole body, and I think that can help a lot of you guys putt well, more consistent, and longer putts as well. So for me, what I taught myself was I like to incorporate my lower body as well as my upper body. I like to use my arm as basically just that's what I'm using to guide the disc. I'm using my all of my other body parts to provide the power. So my arm and wrist is basically just guiding the disc in the same direction I want it to, and I'm using my lower body. I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. So when I step up to a putt, and this will apply to a lot of you guys. Everyone's got their own specific way they line up, but I like to just kind of start off with a slightly closed stance, so that way my arms pretty square with the basket. But as far as what I'm talking about, the lower body is when like I said, this applies to everyone, no matter what putting style you have. But when you're coming back on your putts in general, no matter what putting style you have, this applies to not just putting but driving as well. And I'll go into that later. But right now what I'm talking about is when you're coming back with your putt, I want you guys to at least try it when you're done. At least keep this in mind. Is when you're coming down with your putts, I want you to bend your leg as well as kind of in sync with your arm. So when I bring my arm down, my leg kind of bends and all my weight goes back. And then when my arm goes forward, my leg kind of pops. So I'm using, basically that's just what I'm talking about by putting with your legs just as much as your upper body. So I'm using, as you can see, I'm cocking like this. So as soon as I cock my arm, my leg cocks as well, and it's kind of in sync. So as soon as I go forward, my leg pops forward as well. So that's where I get the power. So obviously I don't really need to do that from right here because I'm really close. But when you start getting farther distances away from the basket, that will really help. Really help get you a lot more controlled, consistent putts and an easy power. And like I said, it's when you start getting 40, 50 feet back is when you're just raising your arm up or you're doing your regular stroke isn't really going to get the power there. You can do your same stroke as from right here as you can for 50, 60, 70 feet. You're just incorporating your lower body and kind of exploding your weight more. So if I'm right here, I might just stand here like this and kind of float it in there. But when you get farther away, like I said back here, you really have to start doing what I was telling you, and kind of obviously everyone doesn't have the same putting style, but this applies, like I said, to everyone. As soon as you cock your arm, cock your weight, and cock and explode forward. So I think you see a lot of people that don't do that, or they'll a lot of the mistakes come when you cock your weight and then you'll go forward first and then putt, and it just throws your timing off. And like I said in the beginning, that putting's a lot about timing. So I think no matter what putting style you have, that will allow you to have more consistent, controlled putts, and in the long run. As far as stance, I mean that's pretty much preferred. There's no really one way to stand. It's the same thing with grips. That stuff's pretty self-explanatory. So that's basically what I want to teach you guys today. I can't fit everything in, but that, like I said, that's without critiquing everyone's form individually. that's just kind of a basic tip to help you guys in general for that part as far as putting. So
go first. What's your putting practice routine, and how much time do you spend a week?
That's obviously, putting's probably the most. To be honest, putting's probably the most I practice, and that's what I'm best at. Yeah. And that's probably because I think it's the most fun to go out and putt. As most of you do as well. Obviously not everyone wants to go to the field and throw for an hour or something. So that's just like I told you, if you practice it the most, you're probably going to be the best at it. So I practice putting the most, and that's probably my specialty. That's what I'm best at. But as far as my routine, I'll when I'm like in the off season, that's when I practice my putt the most, is when I'm able to change stuff. I'm not playing tournaments all the time. But for me, I have a weird practice routine. I'll share it with you guys, but I don't think it will apply to everyone. But I actually start practicing from back 40, 50 feet, and I'll start practicing from there because my thinking, it doesn't apply to everyone, but my thing is if I can make it from there, and I'm not going to leave that spot until I can start making it consistently from there. So as soon as I make it from there, I start moving closer. It feels easier because you're closer. You can do the same stroke with less power and less effort. So, it might sound weird, but try. I think you guys, it might. I don't want it to kill your confidence. You're just airballing from 50 feet, whatever. But I think for me that obviously I'm not making all of them. But when I sit there and feel like I'm confident making 3 out of 4 or 2 out of 3 out of 4, whatever it is, that I feel confident, then I'm gonna scoot in a little bit. As opposed to starting out at 10 feet and working your way out, because you're gonna make 10 footers every time, just about. Obviously it's good to practice them, but so that's what I do. I mean, it's a little strange, but that's my routine. And as long as you're getting in the repetitions and switching distances, that's all that really matters. Obviously you don't want to sit here and get your confidence up and make only 10 footers all day long. You want to go 10 feet all the way to 40, 50 feet. So you gotta, just like I said, make sure you're covering all the different distances.
That 20, 30 foot mark when you're putting, at least with me, I tend to almost push the disc instead of give it the spin, because I lose the control on the spin. So I'll almost push it.
Right. Yeah, I think, like I said, I think the lower body will really help you out, and you really, for putting, you want to always just like a drive. You want to cock your wrist a little bit. You don't want to go crazy like this or like this, but you want to have your wrist cocked a little bit, so you have a little bit of wrist pop to get a smooth putt. A little bit. You don't want to over too much, because then you can miss right, left. But like I said, a little bit of wrist pop or a little bit of wrist cock, and like I said, that weight thing will really help, because you want to make sure you're timed right though, because sometimes you'll explode forward too early. Like watch this. Everything's good. And then if I go like that, and then that's when you see a lot of people throwing short, or and same thing goes for high putts. For me, I know exactly what I did wrong. As soon as if I miss it, I'm like, all right, if I miss high, I kind of went, I released the putt before I, really had the nose ups, because it pushes you. If you explode your weight too early, it pushes you down. Same thing goes for high. So that's you can feel once you practice it a little bit, you'll be able to feel. You're like, oh wow, that was effortless. And that's just because you're incorporating your whole lower body as opposed to just your arm or just your wrist pop or whatever it is. So that'll help. I think you in your case try to incorporate, really include those legs.